Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Thursday, and all of today's guests, including Farhan, standing by, are brought to you by the Vancouver Giants, celebrating anniversary 25 this year. G-Men begin a 6-game road trip tomorrow in Swift Current. Their next home game is on Friday, October 17th against Wenatchee. A reminder, you can stream every Giants game at home or on the road on Victory Plus. Visit VancouverGiants.com for ticket info and to check out their theme night schedule for this season. So we're joined now by Farhan Lalji, as always, usually on a Thursday from TSN. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How come you guys pushed me to Wednesday this week?
Oh,
Oh,
there's
no, it is
reasons.
Thursday.
There's reasons.
Oh, well, you know what? There's a reason you're getting things mixed up is because
Age.
there's that, and I can relate to that. But you covered the 40-40 tie, Packers and Cowboys in Dallas, and you described it as the worst travel experience of your career. Something like that. What happened?
Well, I was on a direct flight on American at like 11:30 from Vancouver to Dallas, and the flight got delayed till 1, and then they got delayed until 8 a.m. the next morning. So I thought that's not going to work. So I went to Air Canada, and I said, hey, can you find me, what's the fastest way to get there? So they said, okay, we'll get you on a flight. I went to San Francisco and was going to go from there to Dallas. And then that flight got delayed, like on the tarmac. I boarded, and halfway through that flight, I had missed my connection. So they put me on a flight from San Francisco to LA, and then a red eye to Dallas. So I got there at about 5:30 in the morning, the day of the game. So it was, look, I rather than whine and bitch about it, my
Yes.
feeling is, over the years, I've had really, really good travel. It's been like 99% seamless.
Yes.
So I was owed a bad day. I didn't, when I tweeted that, it was more for a laugh than me whining about it. It was just one of those things.
And keeping in mind, Farhan, maybe you've forgotten this, most people don't travel first class like you.
Oh,
Oh,
Nelly.
So there's that.
If only. If only.
Yeah.
Hey, Ross
You know, in
Tucker.
fact, I travel less now, so I didn't get the level of status that I did on Air Canada previously. So, like, I can't get near the benefits. It's the worst. I get it's first world problems, but it
Yes.
is easier when you have more status, and it's easier lounge access, easier upgrades. Can't get that now. It's different.
Ah, okay. We'll start some sort of drive for you to raise money.
Speaking of drives,
Yes.
which was a good segue. I got Nathan Rourke and
Yeah.
Vernon Adams to
Yes.
become Kid Sport ambassadors
Oh,
for their respective chapters. So Nathan is an ambassador for Kid Sport BC. Vernon is the Kid Sport ambassador for Calgary now. And their first order of business is to have an additional competition for this Saturday's game. So the two guys are trying to raise money for their respective chapters and to see who can win, or so who can raise more money. So Calgary's winning right now. So if you're a BC Lions fan and you want to support Nathan, go to the Kidsport BC page, and it's all right there on the homepage, and you can donate to Nathan's fundraising page to get kids off the sidelines and into the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Not just the Gravy Bowl, not just the Upper Bowl Open. It's just we got this little game within the game going on between Nathan and Vernon.
well, that makes up for you complaining about your cushy travel. Hey, let's stay there. I was going to ask you about ties in the NFL, but let's stick with the CFL
Okay.
here. 4 o'clock Saturday, Stampeders Lions, BC Place. Nathan Rourke versus Vernon Adams. Nathan wasn't happy with the way he played against the Argonauts. Defense came through big time in that BC victory. Was that just a one-off for Nathan?
I think so. And look, I just love the way he's playing and love the way the entire offense is playing, and where Buck Pierce has taken the group, right? I mean, they're over 30 points in 8 of their last 10 games. And I don't know that they're going to get 52 the way they did in Calgary a couple of weeks ago, but I think they're going to be better than the number they put up against Toronto. Nathan was off a little bit, and I think that's less likely to happen in this game. And he was without some players, including James Butler for that one. James Butler was back, but they also had Xander Horvath a couple weeks ago against Calgary. Was a little different. So now, they're getting those guys back. And I'll tell you the one thing about this offensive line. It's quietly become one of the best groups in the league. Now, I don't think they're going to have Jarrell Broxton this week. He left that last game early. But coming out of the bye, they're going to have Broxton, who I think is the best offensive tackle in the league this year. And then they're going to get Dejon Allen back, who was the top offensive lineman in the league 2 years ago and has been out most of this year with a bicep injury. He was their big free agent acquisition this offseason. So imagine how good they'll look at that point. And they're kind of setting that group up. If you watch them at practice with the number of extra linemen and just the physical run game they're trying to establish, they are setting themselves up for playoff games on the prairies. So they're going to be much more prepared for that if it happens this year.
All right, so much heat on Mike Benavides early. There was a lot of cat calls for Benavides. The defense has been better. Why last couple of weeks?
Pass rush, right? It's not just Matthew Betts. Like, they did something you wouldn't have expected with the two defensive ends, right? Bell and Anai, those two guys basically coming off the street, stepping in. They got coached. They took advantage of what their skill sets were, and these guys have made an instant impact. So now all of a sudden you're getting a pass rush, and we've seen before, like 2 years ago with Betts, where he shot out of the gates real fast early in the year and then faded late. It's the opposite now, which is what you want if you're the Lions. And when that happens, the secondary doesn't look as bad. Like, you look at TJ Lee, for example, who it was aging and maybe wasn't as good a year ago, and they let him go and they brought him back. Do you notice TJ Lee for any of the wrong reasons? No, you don't. And a lot of that is a result of how good the pass rush is. And the other DBs that were exposed at times in recent weeks look better because the pass rush is so good. So you don't get to complain about the defensive coordinator as much when you're rushing the passer and getting pressure.
All right, the Canucks, we got one preseason game to go, then it's showtime. The regular season is around the corner. What one story from camp and preseason sticks out for you so far?
Roots, of course, right? And just his emergence. And you've got to look at him and think this guy's going to have a spot on the opening night roster the way he's played, and we'll see if he plays in that last preseason game. But he's just really emerged as a guy that's not just talented, but a guy that's got a level of hockey smarts that makes up for his current lack of experience. So, I think he makes it. Will he be there for more than 9 games? We'll find that out. But, I don't know how much he benefits by going back to junior, but can he play for 82 games? So, that's the thing you deal with whenever you got that situation. But a right-handed center, which the organization desperately needs, so they'll find out if he can physically handle it. But I expect him to be in the lineup on opening night. And then, it's such a battle on the back end for this group with those young defensemen, with young Pettersson, with Mancini, with Wielander, and I just don't think they've set themselves up to provide a lot of room for all of them to be a part of it. Probably Pettersson makes it, but I think they've all shown really, really well. And it's going to be unfortunate for the guys that don't.
Yeah, I think it's been competitive. I think the preseason training camp has been much better than most people expected. Hey, Farhan, gets back to the NFL for a second. We'll save your opinion on ties for another day. But what did you make of Shedeur Sanders' mime routine with the media in Cleveland, which was in response to some criticism from Rex Ryan?
Yeah, I think that Shedeur has got a bit of a bad rap, right? I think he's got to wear Dion's, outlandishness a little bit. And, I was one of those people that thought he should have fallen somewhere in between where he fell. I thought he was a second round pick. The thought that he should have been competing for the top spot in the draft was not there. But there was a narrative that was created around him, which I think was a little unfair. Well, you do stuff like you did yesterday, it feeds the narrative. You're not helping yourself. So I think he's better than Dylan Gabriel, to be perfectly frank. And it's unfortunate the way the draft picks went down, but they made their decision, so it's right for them to go to Gabriel first. He should have acted a little more grown up in that moment.
And we're out of time. I'd love you to analyze the Seahawks and Buccaneers on Sunday, but all you have to know is this. Buccaneers and the Creamsicles. The Seahawks in the blue, green, and silver of the 70s, the Largent uniforms of the 70s and 80s. That's all you have to know in order to get you to tune in. How spectacular is that going to be?
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. And, you've got Darnold and Baker Mayfield, two guys that were in the same draft class, two that were discarded by many teams and are now finding the best of themselves. So real similar stories there. And on top of that, the Mariners play right after at 5 p.m. There's going to be 115,000 people down in the Soto district. I can't wait to be there. I'm covering one game. I'm going to try to cover both and you do a little 2-for-1 there.
Yeah, taking a plane there by any chance?
First class.
Rick's
class.
Rick's my Uber driver.
Yeah, not happening.
Good luck with the traffic down
Yeah.
there. It's bad at the best at times. Farhan, thanks for this. We'll talk to you next week. Safe travels.
See you, boys.